Okay, how we doing? All right. Glove side mechanics. If you're watching this from the ebook, then you know what to expect a little bit in regards to the glove side mechanics pertaining to the way that we load the drive leg. If you're watching this from YouTube, obviously this is just a random video. So if you want more context on that, be sure to head to therobbyroshow.com/ebooks. All right. So this isn't going to be one of those things that I would deem as an absolute, but I don't really deem a whole lot of things regarding pitching mechanics as absolutes. So I think we'll be okay. This is going to be, I'm doing a lot of different like mini videos for the glove side mechanics chapter, yikes, on essentially like the appearance of the glove side and why does it look different from each individual, right? Like not one and not two guys have like the exact same glove side. I guess you could say the same thing for arm angle if you really want to get technical. But I'm doing like a mini series on a bunch of video screenings, mechanical screenings consisting of certain components that play into that as far as why the glove side looks different. This particular one, we'll do a Glasnow, Garrett Cole from the front, and then we'll talk a little bit about I guess we'll have to show Corey Kluber as well. So this is going to be the glove side mechanics in relation to the way that the individual loads the drive leg. Now, I did something within the Complete Guide Pitching Mechanics ebook, earlier chapters regarding lower body mechanics. We talked about the drive leg loading pattern and how that kind of influences, or I guess the ankle influences the drive leg loading pattern. But anyways, we talk about ankle rotation or foot rotation and ankle eversion. So for me, just kind of through observing and talking and just kind of my self-study, I do think that there is a piece to the glove side and the general like visual of why it appears the way it does due to the drive leg loading. So I talked about in the drive leg drive leg mechanics chapter, that the drive leg is going to be a piece to your body's direction. So establishing direction. Another piece that's going to help aid in your body telling your brain where the task is, as far as like the direction of where we're expressing energy, is going to be the front side. So when we look at the drive leg, you know, we talk about quad dominant, hip hinge guys. We can see a pretty direct correlation to glove side direction being a direct, I'm saying direct a lot, the glove side direction being a byproduct of the direction that the drive leg is going. So you can see in this visual here that when Glasnow comes down, and I wouldn't even say like he's super quad dominant, right? Like he's done a lot of work in years past. He's talked about getting him into a bit better posture, better direction entering his drive phase by cleaning up his hip hinge. But you can see that the drive leg takes him a little bit of misdirection. You can see the glove side has influence within that as well, and still accomplishing the same goal for the glove side mechanics is helping aid in a timing mechanism to keep the trunk neutral as we land down with our anchor point, right? So before we dive into the whole foot rotation and ankle eversion, let's show Garrett Cole, who if you're an instructor and you're screening guys or you're working with guys, you'll obviously have access to all their videos, angles. I'm restricted to some of these video angles. Like I would love to see a close-up of Glasnow's foot and the way it works, but we don't have that access. So now, with looking at Garrett Cole, who I've talked about within the chapter of glove leg, holy smokes, glove side mechanics, is he's linear, right? So this is essentially a linear energy distribution with his glove side. You can see that his trunk posture was not influenced upon descending from peak leg lift, and now you essentially have this glove side, front side extension going towards the direction of the task, right? So towards the catcher. Now, it's not that he's doing, in my opinion, it's not that move in and of itself is being influenced by the glove side. I believe that move is influenced by the individual's way of loading the drive leg via a hip hinge. A hip hinge load is going to naturally give you a better back leg, drive leg, whatever you want to call it, direction towards your desired task, right? So you see a lot of guys who talk about like the vertical shin, the way that they load this back glute here. That knee is a huge piece towards giving the brain a direction, right? Obviously the eyes do that as well, but through the way that the body moves. So piggybacking off the way that Garrett Cole loads his drive leg, we can also look at the way that Garrett Cole's drive foot operates. So I talk about foot rotation comparative to ankle eversion. So you see a lot of guys that have the ability to stay connected to the ground with their entire foot for a longer duration of time and then evert that ankle. So I wouldn't even say Garrett Cole is superior at this. He does it extremely well. You can tell just by the positioning of, his rear hip and where his foot is when his front foot anchors down. Right. So that gives us a pretty good indication. Like he stayed connected for a long time. So when you look at Glasnow, who I would say is a more of a foot rotation guy, due to probably the way he loads his drive leg being a little bit misdirection, you can see that back foot now starts to rotate while the front foot comes into its anchor point. There's a lot of videos I think I have on ankle eversion versus foot rotation. You can look at like a guy like Walker Buehler, but right now I'm going to look at Corey Kluber, who is also an eversion guy. I know that Bauer's an eversion guy, Clayton Kershaw eversion, but let's give you an example of this. Descending from leg lift, Kluber also has exceptionally well drive leg loading pattern, and he's going to stay connected to the ground for a longer duration of time, and then evert his ankle instead of having that foot have to come up. He'll disconnects and then rotates. It can just evert into his hip internal rotation. Now, I know this video doesn't showcase his glove side mechanics, but this one shall. Now, the general perception is not going to be what I call it, but I'll explain here in a bit. So this is a linear glove side to me. I know it's a little bit across his body, but I'm kind of looking more so, does the trunk, torso, whatever, does the posture of the trunk get influenced when he descends from his peak leg lift and enters his drive phase and then gets into his glove side extension? Not really. He's not really over aggressively counter rotating. His trunk is pretty much in the same posture, and now it starts to rotate after landing. All right. So just a quick little clip, quick little breakdown I wanted to do in regards to basically the goal of like identifying an individual that you may be working with and identifying like their most optimal glove side. Like what should the appearance of that particular person's glove side look like? So you can kind of take into account all of these different little components that I have for you and then come up with like that best possible, like, okay, well, he does X, Y, Z. So let's try with like this type of glove side and see, boom, okay, that works. Perfect. That helps aid in timing, trunk rotation, and segmentation. Boom, got it. So we'll also talk more. I think I have about 4 or 5 other videos to do regarding like these little tiny components with the glove side and stuff. Cool. Guys on YouTube watching this, purchase the ebook. Guys on watching this from the ebook, let's keep on keeping on.